Man, does it feel really good to return to YouTube and say this. What it is, YouTube, is your boy Chris. Thank you guys so much for returning back into the channel in what I call now the Near Fall Podcast right here on YouTube. Man, does it feel really good to come back and review Monday Night Raw, talk professional wrestling with you guys. If there's one thing you guys know about me, if you guys know me really, really well, is that I love to talk professional wrestling. I really do. I love to give you guys my thoughts, my opinions, and I love to hear your thoughts and your opinions down below in the comment section or on Twitter or on social media. But tonight, we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw, live from Madison Square Garden in New York City, my backyard from the Bronx to Manhattan at Madison Square Garden in New York City. I can tell you this right now, and again, I'm just going to be me and speak my opinion, speak my mind here. If it wasn't for CM Punk and Seth Rollins in a steel cage match tonight, in the main event of the show, this Monday Night Raw was a complete effing disaster. I'll tell you that straight up off the rip. Man, was that a banger of a steel cage match between Rollins and Punk. Especially with the ending that we got. We'll talk about that when we get to that part of the show. Again, this show, I just don't know. Out of all the Netflix shows that we got for Monday Night Raw since its inception on January 6th, this might be the worst one yet. Might be the worst one yet. I mean, I get it. We're 6 weeks up to WrestleMania. You think that we get a lot of like story and anticipation and WrestleMania momentum on this show tonight, especially from where they were emanating from. The Mecca, Madison Square Garden. It's the Mecca of all entertainment all over the world. The world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, in front of 20,000 plus. And this is the show that we got tonight, Hunter? I'm going to need you to, speed it up a little bit. I don't need you going fucking 100 miles an hour on the freaking Major Deegan, and then you get stopped by the freaking NYPD. No. Go at least 60, 70, 80 miles an hour. At least right now. Again, folks, I kid you not. We're 6 weeks away from WrestleMania. I don't know. Yeah, sure, I was excited after what happened with John Cena turning heel at the Elimination Chamber. Sure, I was excited about that. That really saved WrestleMania season and The Rock as well. Sure. But with the show that we got tonight at MSG, I don't know. But we're going to go over what happened on Raw tonight. And what I thought was it was just a dud show. It was I'll tell you that right now. It was just an show until we got the Punk and Rollins in that cage. Again, outside of that, it was just an show. Just me being honest. I want to thank you guys for returning here, if you guys are watching. If you guys are glad that I'm back on YouTube, I'm back full time. I will cover Raw. Let me know down below in the comments if you want me to cover NXT Roadblock tomorrow. If so, I will. I'll be covering AEW Dynamite as well. And I'll be covering Friday Night SmackDown as well. And I'll cover any AEW pay-per-view and WWE PLE. But let me know down below in the comments if you want me to cover NXT Roadblock tomorrow. I will cover the show. I will. Just let me know if you guys want me to. If you guys are glad I'm back, hit that like button. I'm glad to be back on YouTube. So if you guys are glad I'm back, I'm better than ever now. I want to thank you guys so much, man. Again, if you guys are glad that I'm back, hit that like button. Leave a comment down below what you guys thought of the show tonight, what you liked about the show, what you didn't like about the show, what's your favorite drink, your favorite cereal, whatever. Leave a comment down below. The comment section is now yours. And if you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below. Turn that bell, guys, for all notifications. All my socials will be down below in the description. My Instagram, my TikTok, Twitter. You guys can follow me on social media. It'll be all down below in the description of this very video. Let's talk about Raw tonight. My biggest takeaway from Raw tonight was the main event. Obviously, the main event of the show. I thought what Rollins and Punk did was great. Great steel cage match. I thought Rollins was competing like as if he was a god tonight. Rollins is great. Punk is great. And for the people on social media that say Punk don't work, he wrestled a strap match. He wrestled a Hell in a Cell, Elimination Chamber, Royal Rumble, cage match. Punk is working, bro. I don't know why CM Punk gets the amount of hate that he gets. I don't get it. But we will talk about what happened with Punk and Rollins and what happened in the end of the show when we get to that portion of the review. But my biggest takeaway was that main event, which we will talk about at the portion of the show. Monday Night Raw kicked off tonight. Jey Uso making his entrance from the concourse area through the crowd at Madison Square Garden. Raw kicked off tonight with Jey Uso, main event Jey Uso, yeet, going one-on-one with Grayson Waller. Now, wrestling one-on-one here, folks. Wrestling one-on-one, right? If you're a Royal Rumble winner and you're getting a World Championship match at WrestleMania, it is very important for said winner of the Royal Rumble to not lose any matches until WrestleMania. So, by that default there, Jey Uso was not going to lose to Grayson Waller here. But I will say this though, the match between Jey Uso and Grayson Waller wasn't that bad. It was okay for what it was. Jey Uso just yeet, in front of 20,000 people at MSG. Man, that is a scene to, breathtaking. Jey Uso doing the yeet in front of 20,000 people at Madison Square Garden. Man, that was an amazing sight to see there. I'm really happy for Jey Uso. Don't get me wrong. I really am happy for Jey Uso. So, they go to a collar and elbow tie-up. That's Jey Uso and Grayson Waller. Grayson with a side headlock, shot off, shoulder block, with a disdainful stomp to the neck. Uso off the ropes, wipes him out with an elbow, scoop and slam. And a slam. Waller puts him into a post shoulder first, whip across. Jey sidesteps a charge, backsplash, sets up an enziguri. Clothesline sends Grayson Waller to the floor. Yeet. Off the ropes, suicide dive connects. Waller capitalizes and lays him out as we go to commercial break. Back from the commercial break. Waller with a diving elbow. Uso with a Samoan drop. A kick sends Grayson to the floor. Counter the dive. Rolling Thunder reverse STO. So close there. Rolling elbow gets a super kick. Jey lands on an Austin Theory as well off the ropes. Jey Uso spears Grayson Waller for the 1, 2, 3. Jey Uso defeats Grayson Waller in a very not bad of a match, but yet predictable, because Jey Uso has to build momentum going into WrestleMania against Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. Post-match, A-Town down under, beat Uso down, but he backs up. Body drops Waller out of the ring, drops Theory with a spear, heading up top, diving splash, connects, but Gunther comes out of nowhere, attacks Jey Uso from behind, gets a sleeper on Jey Uso. Jey Uso falls asleep in Gunther's arms, and Gunther raises his hands up in the air as this segment comes to a close. Folks, I have a problem with this. I do. I really do. When Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble, I told myself, he's not picking Cody Rhodes. Why would he pick Cody Rhodes? Why? So, the odd man out there is Gunther. The minute Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble, I already knew who he was going after. He even said it on the Go Home show of Monday Night Raw before the Rumble in Indy. Gunther said he was going to give Jey Uso 10 weeks of hell. It's been over what? A month and a half? Somewhat there, chat, right? Yeah. A month and a half. And Gunther gives Jey Uso a sleeper in every single week. Gunther, you want to step it up a little bit? I know you're the ring general. And I love Gunther. Don't get me wrong. I love Gunther, I do. Love Gunther. But I'm going to need Gunther to do more damage to Jey Uso here. Especially when everyone is doubting that Jey is not going to beat Gunther. That Jey is a wasted Rumble winner. It should have gone to Cena. I heard a lot of people say that on social media. Not on social media, but also on live television. You got the heels going after Jey Uso. Say, oh, you can't win the big one. You can't beat Gunther. You can't beat Gunther. Folks, get ready for Jey Uso beating Gunther at WrestleMania as you get 70 to 75,000 people chanting, yay, as Jey Uso wins the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. It's going to happen. They're telling you the story that Jey Uso keeps getting doubted and doubted and doubted every single week. Surprising it happened this week. But you get the picture. Jey Uso is going to beat Gunther at WrestleMania for the World Championship. Get ready for that. As of this match happened, it wasn't that bad. It was okay for what it was. But I'm going to need Gunther to do more damage to Jey Uso here. You can't just keep having Jey Uso in these matches and have Gunther come out of nowhere and give him a sleep. Can't do that. Do some more damage. Mess up his confidence a little bit. Do something that'll rattle up Jey Uso's confidence just a little bit. Yeah, sure, Jey is struggling a little bit, sure. But it's not really impactful, if you know what I mean. That's what I got coming out of this segment. They've been doing this every single week, and on top of that, my honest opinion is getting a little repetitive. Just a little bit. Need you to step things up a bit. Please. Thank you. Jey Uso wins. It's, again, you know what I mean. So, back for commercial. No, we get a recap. We get a recap of the feud between Rollins and Punk as we go to commercial break. Back from commercial, Alpha Academy checks in on Jey Uso in the trainer's room. Logan Paul makes his entrance and gets on the microphone. Listen, I love Logan Paul as a heel. I do. He's very undervalued, if you ask me. In my honest opinion, I think he's undervalued here. I think he is. He tries to start talking about AJ Styles, but gets drowned out in boos at MSG. No, Logan Paul, we're not in Cleveland. We're in New York. We're in New York. He gets drowned out in boos and takes him a few tries to get going. He says he doesn't really associate with guys like AJ. He's Logan Paul, and when you hear his name, you think of names like you think of names like The Rock and John Cena, who have transcended sports and entertainment, and who will do anything to get to the top. So that's why he's shocked that Cody Rhodes turned down The Rock's offer, and it took Cena 20 years to realize nice guys finish last. He tells Rock to consider his soul for sale. The craven asshole he is. He calls Andrew Schulz out in the crowd and asks that he be giving a mic and cohorts him into standing and saying that why he came to MSG tonight. Schulz says he came out for the reason everybody else did, to see the steel cage match between CM Punk and Seth Rollins later on in the main event. Logan tries to get him to say he came to see him, but Andrew doesn't play along and says nobody came to see him. This is New York City, not Cleveland, Ohio. It's a real city with a real arena, and they want to see real wrestlers. Listen, Logan Paul's great in the ring. He's phenomenal in the ring. No pun intended, by the way. He particularly wants to see AJ Styles tonight, and that leaves Paul to yank him over the barricade and throw him into the ring. Logan draws him up, excuse me, hooks him, but Styles makes a save. Styles rushes into the ring. Schulz recovers in time to watch AJ hit the phenomenal arm and high five Andrew Schulz. Styles calls him back, but Paul keeps walking, so AJ raises Andrew Schultz's hand and reminds us all that this is New York City. I said on X earlier while I was watching the show from work, and I said to myself, AJ Styles and Logan Paul at WrestleMania will be a banger of a match. AJ's great in the ring. Logan's great in the ring. Is that natural heel versus babyface? I like it. I like it. Yes. Sure. Absolutely. But the fact that Logan Paul came to Madison Square Garden and to talk his stuff, he's a really good heel. Like, that's what heels do. That's what heels do. I'm actually surprised that Logan Paul didn't really talk about the Knicks or the Rangers, knowing that the Knicks lost Jalen Brunson for about 2 weeks and the Rangers are playing how they're playing. Really shocked that Logan Paul didn't say anything about that. Meanwhile, I'm sure he's a Cavaliers fan because he's from Cleveland, that the Cavaliers are the current number 1 seed right now in the Eastern Conference. Surprised he ain't saying anything about that. But it is what it is. So I am expecting AJ versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania. If that match does happen, that could potentially steal the show, in my honest opinion. We get a recap of the Women's World Championship scene from last week between IYO and Rhea, with Bianca's involvement last week. We'll get to that in a little bit. New Day make their entrance as we go to commercial break. Tornado tag team match between the New Day, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods going up against an LWO in Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio. This was a fun match. Not gonna lie to you. This was a fun match. Back for commercial break, we get another hype reel for TKO Boxing, brought to you in partnership with Saudi Arabia. And that's a bummer, but again, it's not like it's much better here these days. Very true. Obafemi is shown in the front row. He was in attendance, as well as Stephanie Vaquer and Julia and all the other NXT talent. They will be at the theater at Madison Square Garden tomorrow for NXT Roadblock. Again, let me know down below in the comments if you want me to review NXT Roadblock tomorrow. Let me know. Tornado tag team match. This was a fun match. Very fun match. Very good match. This was honestly, in my honest opinion, the second best match in the entire show. Next to the cage match. This was a very fun match. Great match. Got a good amount of time. I like it. But I got one question to ask. Can we get the New Day to move on from LWO? Again, it's getting a little repetitive here. Can we specifically move on from the New Day? Have them go after the tag team titles. Sure. I wouldn't mind it. What is the New Day doing at WrestleMania? That's another question I gotta ask. What is Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods doing at WrestleMania? I don't know. But ever since they turned heel, their momentum has fall off a cliff. That heel turn that Kofi and Xavier did on Big E was great. Was fantastic stuff. But what have they done ever since? Yeah, sure, they're winning their matches, sure. They've won some, they lost some. But I like this new side of the New Day, I really do. But the question is, what is Kofi and Xavier doing at WrestleMania? What are they doing? I'm going to cut it from the commercial break, going to the end of the match. Back for commercial break, New Day choking LW in the corner. Lee up top, climbing up with him, jockeying for position. Kingston with a trio of whoa. Xavier and Dragon fighting over top of him. Ray in there too. Frankenstein takes Woods out. Trio of woe double stomp from Lee. Mysterio puts Kingston on the second. Ducks trouble in paradise. Springboard crossbody. Slide under back to the second. 619 connects. Ray hits the 619. Ray off the top with the splash, knees up, cradle, Dragon Lee breaks it up. Lee with a super kick, clothesline, sends Kofi to the floor. Off the ropes, Top Quan Giro. Very good move there by Dragon Lee. A masked man dives in over the barricade with a Frankensteiner jumping headbutt. Ray confronts the masked man, but he bounces Mysterio's face off the apron and hits an Everest German suplex before throwing him back in the ring. The masked man throws his hands up with a big "Thank you!" and runs away from security. Kofi back inside. Borodora. Kofi wards off the top. New Day wins by pinfall with an up, up, down, down on Rey Mysterio. 1, 2, 3. New Day beats LWO in what I thought was a very good tornado tag team match. Very good. Again, second best match on the entire show. Again, I just gotta ask. Can we move on, please, with this New Day LWO stuff? Like, the New Day has beaten every single combination of the LWO. Every single combination. Can we move on? Please. Again, I have to ask. What is the New Day doing at WrestleMania? At least have them go after the tag team titles. Could you imagine a New Day Viking Raiders match? Or War Raiders? Excuse me. A New Day War Raiders World Tag Team title match at WrestleMania? My God. Would that feed families? I'm telling you, the New Day, man, they've been doing some good stuff on Raw as of late. But again, their momentum as heels, they've fallen off. Just a little bit, though. Not a lot. New Day wins in what I thought was a very good tornado tag team match. We get a recap of Finn Balor calling Braun Breaker out last week in the Judgment Day Clubhouse. Finn Balor complains about Braun Breaker to a unlistening Carlito, who mostly just wants to talk about how surprising it is John Cena is a bad guy now. Oh, we'll get to that part when we get to Cody's segment on the show. The rest of Judgment Day roll up to talk about how they got Raquel Rodriguez a path to the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship match, and Finn a WWE Intercontinental Championship match against Braun next week in Belgium. And all he has to do is go talk to Adam Pearce to make it official. He hugs Dominic real tight and thanks him and leaves. Liv tells Dom he should have taken the match for himself, but he says he believes in Finn. Dominic Mysterio says. And we got the match confirmed. We did get the match confirmed. Not only we got Raquel versus Bayley later on in the show, but next week on Raw, we're getting Finn Balor versus Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship in Belgium next week. Banger alert! We get a hype reel for Evolve. Listen, I don't know about you guys, but I've heard a lot of good things about Evolve. Heard a lot of great stuff about it. So let me know who you guys think is great down there in Evolve. Let me know any of the men, any of the women. Let me know down below who are your favorites right now in Evolve. So we get to Cody. Cody makes his entrance as Cody got a big reaction from the MSG crowd. Big reaction. Cody makes his entrance and sends us to commercial break. Coming back for commercial break, Cody Rhodes asks New York City what you want to talk about. He talks a little bit about Madison Square Garden and mentions that John Cena is not going to be here tonight. I'll get to that in a little bit as the segment closes. He talks about a little bit of MSG and mentions that John Cena is not going to be here tonight. And his inner circle of Travis Scott and The Rock, that won't be here, but he'll be in Brussels, Belgium next week. Cody says he doesn't know if he likes that. This is the John Cena who won the U.S. title in this very building back at WrestleMania 20. I was in attendance for that show. And how he won the 2008 Royal Rumble coming back from a torn pec. Again, I was in attendance for that show. Here at MSG, and apparently that was an easy decision. It's also easy to swing at someone after you've kicked them in the nuts and you have backup. He doesn't barrage a legend for calling his shots or having a part-time schedule. What he does barrage is the day after the chamber, Cena going onto social media, he derails his point a moment to let the crowd chant so John can hear it at home. He begrudges Cena, talking about having the discipline to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. He says you have that mentor where eventually you have to turn to them and say, sit down, John, you goddamn moron. Best for business, nobody defines that better than John Cena, but he thinks the thousands here tonight know better because the business has changed. And he's right, it has changed. It's always tacky to cite stats, but there's one statistic that will never be one man's delusion, and that's 17. 17 will never happen, but he gets the heartbreaking privilege of beating his hero in his last chance as he finds out the real time that Cody is the captain now. Cody did also say he will be in Brussels, Belgium next week to go face to face with John Cena. That, folks, will be huge. Next week, Monday Night Raw in Brussels, Belgium, we will finally get to hear what John Cena has to say. We get to see John for the first time since the Elimination Chamber. I said it when John turned heel at the Elimination Chamber PLE. Could you imagine that first promo that he cut as a heel? Could you imagine the thoughts that John has and the ideas John has in this heel turn? In my honest opinion, John is one of the greatest of all time. He is. One of the all-time greats. 16-time world champion. Sure. But we never got that side of John Cena that we've been wanting for the last 20 years. And we finally got it at the Elimination Chamber PLE. We finally got that. Could you imagine all the times Cena would ask Vince, hey, can I turn heel? Hey, can I turn heel? Hey, I think this is a good time for me to turn heel. Vince would say no to John. Because that would be bad for business. Now, John turning heel for the first time in 20 years, that is what I call best for business. All this thing that The Rock did with the 3, back at Bad Blood, to what we got at the Elimination Chamber, to what Cena said after the Royal Rumble, that it would be best for business if he entered the chamber, won the chamber, and went after 17 at WrestleMania. Everything aligned perfectly. Everything did. And I love that. But here's the part of the review of this portion of the show where I'm going to be a little critic about this. A little critical about this. How many times, right? How many times does WWE go to Madison Square Garden? Twice, maybe. Twice a year, maybe 3 times tops. Maybe a Raw, like what happened tonight. Maybe a SmackDown gets MSG later down the road in the year. And then they do this holiday tour in December, the day after Christmas. That's 3 times a year they go to MSG. In my honest opinion, and I said this to my bros in the Instagram group chat that I'm in, it's a little disappointing. I honestly think WWE a little bit dropped the ball on Cena not being at MSG. Even Cody said it himself in this promo. He even said it in this promo that it's a little disappointing that John is not here at the Garden, a place that John loves to perform in. All the house shows, all the PLEs, all the championships he's won, all the Rumbles he's won. In that very building at Madison Square Garden. And you don't think that you would have John Cena come to Madison Square Garden in front of 20,000 people? Again, in my honest opinion, I think Triple H, Nick Khan, and WWE dropped the ball on this. On not having John Cena be on this show tonight. And on top of that, it would have added a lot to the show. Especially with the show that we got. It would have added a lot to have John come to Madison Square Garden. And I get it. He's in Africa filming. I get it. But if you don't have him in the building, at least have him on satellite. At least. You could have put John on satellite. But it would have been different. It would have been a whole lot better if he was there in the building. He would have got that reaction, all the boos, and all of that. It would have been great to have John show up at MSG. It would have been great. It would have been great. We're getting Cody and Cena at WrestleMania for the undisputed WWE Championship. Folks, they turned John Cena heel at the Elimination Chamber PLE. Something that we would have never see happen, especially in John Cena's retirement year, I might add. It's as if they have to give him the championship at WrestleMania, no? By the time we get to WrestleMania, Cody would be WWE Champion for 1 full year. By the time we get to April 19th and April 20th at WrestleMania. Cody, as of this recording, has been WWE Champion for 11 months. He finished his story last year in Philly against Roman for the championship. In what I thought was a phenomenal WrestleMania main event. Phenomenal. I watched it. I got a little worry stuff since done my eye. I did. I'm not going to say a lot of you. Last year was Cody's heaven. This year will be Cody's hell. Something tells me The Rock will play a big part in Cody losing the title at WrestleMania. Oh, and side note here. People want to see Travis Scott wrestle at WrestleMania. I don't want to see him in a match. But I would love to see Travis Scott in a bump. I would love to see him take a bump at WrestleMania from Cody. Maybe a crossroads to the announce table. I don't know. Maybe a rock bottom. Something. I would love to see that. I'm interested in that. But Travis Scott performing like wrestling in a match, I don't want to see that. I'd much rather see Travis Scott perform a bump. Take a bump at WrestleMania. Cena's winning 17 at WrestleMania. He is. He is. Whether you people like it or not, it's going to happen. And I don't know if you guys see that on social media. Cena is not advertised for the Raw after WrestleMania in Las Vegas. He's advertised for the SmackDown after WrestleMania. Maybe all that changes after he wins the title at WrestleMania. I don't know, but this was this basically the same promo Cody cut last week. Last Friday on SmackDown. Basically the same promo. And I can't wait for Cena and Cody to be face-to-face, one-on-one next week. In Belgium. Which, by the way, Belgium on that show next week, it will start at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. U.S. time. Well, Eastern time. 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're in the West Coast, it'll start at 12. If you're in the East Coast, it'll start at 3. For Raw next week. It'll be at... Raw over the next week will be at 8 o'clock Belgium time. Their time in Belgium will be at 8 o'clock. Over here will be at 3. So, yeah. Now, Belgium is 5 hours... Belgium will be 5 hours ahead of us next week. So that's why Raw, if you guys don't know why, Raw will be at 3 o'clock Eastern time next week if you're in the East Coast. Again, Cody cut the same promos next week as last week. I'm looking forward to Cody and Cena face-to-face next week. And to hear Cena's first promo as a heel. And also, his gear, what his gear's going to be, what is his music going to be. I think he had an interview with Chris Van Vliet, that's my guy, by the way. Shout out to you, Chris. CVV had an interview with Cena, and he told him that he had everything lined up, gear, music ready, when Rock and Cena was first feuding back for WrestleMania 28 in Miami. But Vince shot that down. Vince has shot that down. Again, I'm interested in next week. Let's see what happens. Just they are walking backstage to sense a commercial break. We get Raquel Rodriguez versus Bayley. Number 1 contenders match. Winner will face Lara Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And my eyes burning. Whew, alright, I'm good. This crowd, bro. I will tell you this right now, in my honest opinion. The crowd was dead silent for this match. Dead. Just as dead as the Revolution card that happened on Sunday night. Last night. Most of that crowd was dead for that show. Dead. Same thing here tonight. Inexcusable. Inexcusable. Just my honest opinion there. Raquel wins. I'm not really going to go over what happened here. Just know Raquel wins with the one-arm powerbomb with, of course, help from Judgment Day with both Liv and Dominic, obviously. So Bayley was in a 3-on-1 situation. She couldn't escape from it. She loses. Raquel Rodriguez wins. She will be the number 1 contender for the Women's Intercontinental Championship against Lara Valkyria. Don't know when that match happens, but yeah. Raquel wins. It is what it is. Do you really care? No. There you go. Chad Gable. Interviewed backstage as he has no idea who the masked man from earlier was. And why should he? He says security here is pathetic. Hey, Chad. Listen. Don't be cutting ass on New York security. Alright? Listen, Chad, we love you, bro. We do. We love you here on this channel. We love you here, bro. But don't criticize New York security, because if it ain't for us, you're not safe. So he says security here is pathetic and should have taken the masked man out of there before anything else happened. And as he defends his position, we see the masked man being drugged out of the arena behind him. Nah, Chad Gable's the masked man that was there. It was him. No one to tell me otherwise, obviously. We see IYO SKY walking backstage as we go to commercial break. Back for commercial break, we get another round of celebrities in the crowd. Fabulous was there. You know, yeah, Fabulous. My guy, Fabulous. Michael Cole's in the ring to introduce IYO SKY. She won the Women's World Championship last week from Rhea Ripley. She talks about how good it feels to be in Madison Square Garden as champion, and she proved the impossible is possible, and now she's over the moon to be champion going into WrestleMania. She was going in the WrestleMania last year as women's champion against Bayley last year, which again, that match was a banger last year as well. Cole says she's going to have her work cut out for her and introduces Bianca Belair. She says she and IYO have never seen eye to eye, Bianca said, but she's excited for both of them to go into WrestleMania together. She says she wasn't planning on making anything happen last week, and she apologized to Rhea Ripley, but if she thought she could put hands on her without consequences, she doesn't know her at all, and now she's focused on WrestleMania. Out comes Rhea Ripley. She got a big reaction from the MSG crowd as Michael Cole gets the hell out of Dodge. And to be honest, Cole, I don't blame you that one bit, brother. She talks her way down the ramp and asks Bianca why she got involved last week, and she doesn't like any of Bianca's answers. She accuses her of being scared of her and says there was no reason for her to be at ringside, and she should have focused on handling her own business with Naomi and Jade Cargill. That story in itself is juicy, by the way. Very juicy. Belair will be real. Rhea's engaging in a defense mechanism because she knows she can't beat IYO, and she just tries to blame her. Excuse me. IYO tries to get between them, and Ripley pie faces her. Sky tries again, and this time Bianca pie faces her. We all know where this is going at this point. And now the champion has had enough and halts off and slaps the hell out of both Rhea and Bianca. And gets out of the ring, storms out of the ring, and screams in Japanese. Whatever IYO said wasn't probably pleasant in her language. This was a good segment. Very good segment here. It's obviously pointing that we're getting a triple threat between these three lovely ladies. For the Women's World Championship, Bianca won the chamber. But then again, I ask, if we're not adding anybody to Cody and Cena at WrestleMania, why are we adding to the Women's World Championship match? Again, I get it. What is Rhea doing at WrestleMania if she's not competing for the Women's World Championship at WrestleMania? What's Rhea doing? This makes sense because of what happened last week when Bianca cost Rhea the Women's World Championship last week. And on top of that, I don't know if people recognize this, but last week they showed, or Michael Cole stated, that Rhea has never beaten Io in a one-on-one match. So they kept that there. And I like that. The only triple threat match I want to see at WrestleMania is this match between Rhea, Bianca, and Io. It calls for it, sure. Don't get me wrong. Would Io win the championship at WrestleMania, or does Rhea win back the championship? Or there's some way somehow Bianca wins the championship and gets transferred over to Monday Night Raw because she is a SmackDown superstar. She is a SmackDown superstar, I might add. So keep that in mind. I don't know. Let's see what happens at WrestleMania, but if they do add Rhea to the match, sure. But I don't know. Maybe we get Io and Bianca at WrestleMania with Ripley as the guest referee. I don't know. I don't know what Hunter's doing, but it's either we get a triple threat match between these three ladies, or we get Io and Bianca one-on-one with Rhea as the guest referee. Don't know. I would much rather have a triple threat between those three ladies, but let's see what happens there. Rollins makes his way to the ring as we get to commercial. Coming back for commercial, we see Stephanie Vaquer and Julia in the crowd. They'll go one-on-one tomorrow at NXT Roadblock, title for title tomorrow. Main event time. Main event. CM Punk vs. Seth Rollins in a steel cage. One-on-one. This main event in Monday Night Raw tonight. In what I thought was a very, very good main event. Excellent cage match between Punk and Rollins. This matchup was crazy. And again, like I said earlier in the video, if it wasn't for Rollins and Punk in this cage match tonight, this would have been a terrible episode of Raw. Terrible episode of Raw. But these two men, they put on a complete banger. They did. Great stuff out of these two. The first match happened at the Netflix debut on Raw at the Intuit Dome on January 6th. Punk won that match clean. Tonight we get Punk and Rollins. Will Punk be 0-2 against Rollins, or will Rollins tie up 1-1 against Punk? So Rollins makes his way to the ring. Punk makes his way to the ring to a big reaction. Punk gets into the ring and Rollins just goes after Punk right out the gate. So Punk hammering punches out the gate. Rollins backs him in the opposite corner. Each man denying the other the opportunity to ram each other in the cage. Rollins tears CM Punk's shirt, jabs in return, trading right hands with abandon. Into big open hand strikes. Punk ducks under, Rollins ducks under. Seth blasts him with hard right hands. Pace slows as the punches continues. Punk staggered hard onto one knee. Rising knee countered. Buckle bomb into the cage wall, and we go to commercial break. Coming back from the break, Rollins opens the door, and he's happy to let Punk walk out if he wants to. But Punk ain't having it. Flipping Seth the Bird, right hands, and for some reason Netflix cut that off when Punk gave Rollins the Bird. I don't know why Netflix did that, but why? Why? Right hands, front kick counters, powerbomb lift. Punk slips out and grinds him into the cage wall. Knee to the back of the head. Punk returns the favor of opening the door, and Rollins returns the birds as well again. But they didn't bleep that one out though. They bleeped out Punk's bird, but they didn't bleep out Rollins' bird. Elbows drop on elbow drops. Punk off the second rope. Diving elbow connects. The second elbow. A third. Still no. CM Punk climbs all the way to the top of the cage. Rollins rolls and gets to his feet. Rollins climbs up on top of him. Trading punches. Seth slips but catches himself and stands on the top rope. Rollins pulls him down. Superplex. Looked painful there. Trading big right hands from the knees into the feet. Underhooks counter. Goes to sleep, but Rollins kicks out. Getting under him again. This time Rollins counters to the go to sleep into an STS. Rollins performing an STF on Punk. I wonder who else does that move. Wink, wink. Punk breaks his grip and reverses this into the Anaconda Vice. Seth flailing. He gets to the ropes, but it means nothing because when it comes to a steel cage match, there is no such thing as rope break. Knees to Punk's head, gouging his eyes, and he finally breaks free, hits a blackout. Punk won't stay down. Rollins tries to figure out his next move. He goes up to the second. Punk trips him into the turnbuckles, hits a go to sleep. Still, Rollins kicks out of the second go to sleep. Match at this point is a banger. Punk hits his own blackout for his own near fall. He approaches the door, and Rollins calls him back. Tells him if he wants it, he has to take it, earn it. Calls him an asshole there, but they didn't bleep that out. Punk clobbers him. Fireman carry Rollins slips out. Fireman's carry go to sleep of his own to set up another stomp. So Rollins slips out of Punk's fireman's carry. Rollins slips out. Rollins gives Punk a fireman's carry, hits the go to sleep, and hits a stomp on Punk. 1, 2, Punk kicks out. Another near fall. Rollins goes up to the second. Punk unmoving, blackout up the second, but Rollins doesn't go for the cover. The crowd gets excited, and I'm thinking to myself, that's Roman. Rollins is like holding on to himself on the rope. There's a clear shot of Rollins' face, and then Roman comes out of nowhere. Pulls Rollins out of the cage from the door. Rollins, both feet, hits the floor. Rollins wins the match. Rollins wins by escaping the cage. Post-match, Roman hits a Superman punch and a spear on Rollins. He throws Rollins knee first into the steel steps and leans against the barricade like an ordinary cat. Roman hits a blackout of his own off the steps. He drags Seth over the steps and draws at him more. Measuring his pace, Adam Pearce and referees and officials arrive to stop him from advancing to Rollins. We see Paul Heyman. Where did Paul Heyman come from? So Paul Heyman checking on Punk in the ring, and Roman casts a curious eye on his wise man. He's like, really? He chuckles to himself as he goes to the cage, waylays Punk, throws him into the cage wall, back and forth to set up a spear. Reigns stands tall, throws his one up, while both Punk and Rollins are laying down onto the floor and on the mat as the show goes completely off the air. Wow. Great stuff. By that visual alone, with Rollins on the outside, Punk laying in the ring in the cage, Roman doing his one, we're getting a triple threat match at WrestleMania. It's safe to say. I've been against it for the last, I want to say, 2-3 weeks. I've been against it. I've been arguing with people on social media over the idea, what would be on the line if we get this triple threat match? Maybe we'll find that out in the weeks to come once the match is official. I don't know. But I will tell you this right now, in my honest opinion, because I'm real with you guys. If we get this triple threat and it's announced for Punk, Rollins, and Reigns, whoever wins that triple threat straight up wins. Straight up. I don't want the winner of this triple threat to be added to Cody and Cena at WrestleMania for night 2 for the WWE title. Cena won the chamber. It's only right for him to get Cody one-on-one. I get the ladies though, but the ladies make sense to make it a triple threat. It makes sense between IYO, Bianca, and Rhea. It makes sense for those three to be in a triple threat. Makes sense. Despite Bianca within the chamber. Makes sense. But to Cena's case here, he didn't cost nobody no championship. That's the difference between Bianca's win and Cena's win in the chamber. If we do indeed get Roman, Rollins, and Punk at WrestleMania in a triple threat, sure, it'll be a great match. But does that match main event night 1? Again, if we're getting this triple threat, what does the winner get? That's all I'm asking. Is Punk's favor going to be in case here? Because from this point forward, I don't think Punk can hold down his favor until SummerSlam. Or at least going into the summer. If Punk is going to cash in his favor, it's going to be at WrestleMania. It's going to be at WrestleMania. And I got a funny feeling, this favor from Paul Heyman, I think Punk's favor is that Punk wants Heyman to be in his corner and not Roman Reigns. Sure. I could see that being a favor. Sure. I could. But does it happen? Well, that's the question. Only time will tell. We have 6 weeks to go before WrestleMania. 6 weeks. Things are about to get interesting when it comes to Roman, Rollins, and Punk. Could SmackDown be watchable this Friday? Possibly. Will Roman be on SmackDown this week? I think he's advertised for SmackDown next week. Yeah. Roman's advertised for SmackDown next week. I believe, yeah. He's advertised for the 21st. I believe it's in Italy. That's where SmackDown will be. Roman's advertised for that show. And I think Punk and Rollins are also advertised for that SmackDown as well. I believe him. I'm not too sure yet. But my biggest takeaway from that main event was the fact that Paul Heyman was checking on Punk. That's the biggest takeaway. And Roman's face and his reaction said it all. Said it all. Went in the cage, messed up Punk, threw him in the wall, the cage wall, hit him with a spear. But I would tell people on social media, Roman has no beef with Punk. They teamed up in War Games. So for now, Roman has no beef with Punk until what happened tonight. Now he does. So that answered my question. What beef does Roman have with Punk? Now we know. The biggest dark horse in this feud between Rollins, Reigns, and Punk is Paul Heyman. That's the biggest dark horse. I think Heyman will be the biggest difference in this segment, in this feud. Especially with Punk and Roman. Because we know those two are going to have a collision course at some point in the summer. I think. Call me crazy, but I think so. I think Roman and Punk at some point in the summer will have a match. Whether if it's at a Saudi Arabia show, SummerSlam, I don't know. But this was a banger main event on a episode of Raw. I know Raw next week will be a banger next week. I think we're getting Penta and Ludwig Kaiser in a no holds barred match. And I know we're getting Balor and Breaker for the IC title next week. So it should be a banger next week for Raw. Then with Cody and Cena being face-to-face next week, Raw is going to be a very heavy show next week in Belgium. next week. And I will be here to cover Raw next week here on the channel. Thank you guys so much. That is the end of Raw. I thought Raw wasn't a good show, but at the same time it was more of an show. It was just there. And then we got Punk and Rollins in the main event with Roman showing up. That was the biggest highlight of the entire match, of the entire show. So there you go. If I was to give Raw a rating, it'll probably be at least a 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10, in my honest opinion. 3 points because of the Rollins Punk main event, and then the 1 is that Tornado match, that Tornado tag team match with LWO and the New Day. That's it. There you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you guys did, leave a like. If you guys are happy that I'm back on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button down below, turn that bell, guys, for notifications, and also leave a comment down below. Do you guys want me to review NXT Roadblock tomorrow? Leave a comment down below. Also, guys, hit that subscribe button down below, turn that bell, guys, for all notifications. Be sure you guys are following me on social media as well. All my social medias will be down below in the description of this very video. And I will see you guys tomorrow for either NXT Roadblock, or I'll see you guys on Wednesday for AEW Dynamite on the Fallout show from Revolution. Until then, guys, I am Chris. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, share the video all over social media, and I will see you guys on the very next video. Peace.